Welcome back to Global Interview Institute, your trusted partner for interview success. Today, we're bringing you a comprehensive guide to ace your dispatcher interview. Whether you're applying for emergency services, logistics, transportation, or any other dispatcher role, this video will prepare you with 25 essential interview questions and winning answers. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you want to become a dispatcher. Sample answer. I am a recent graduate with strong communication and organizational skills. I've always been interested in roles where I can help people and make a real difference. During my studies, I volunteered at community events where I coordinated volunteers and managed schedules, which taught me the importance of clear communication and staying calm under pressure. I want to become a dispatcher because this role combines my desire to help others with my technical abilities. I'm good at multitasking, I stay composed in stressful situations, and I genuinely care about ensuring people get the help they need quickly. I've also taken online courses in crisis management and basic computer systems to prepare myself for this role. I believe being a dispatcher will allow me to contribute meaningfully to the community while building a stable career. Question 2. What do you think are the main responsibilities of a dispatcher? Sample answer. Based on my research and understanding, a dispatcher's main responsibilities include receiving and answering both emergency and non-emergency calls, accurately recording all call details, and prioritizing requests based on urgency. Dispatchers coordinate with field personnel, whether they're emergency responders, drivers, or service technicians, to ensure they reach the right location quickly. The role also involves using dispatch systems and software to track resources, maintain detailed logs of all activities, and communicate effectively with multiple parties simultaneously. Dispatchers must provide clear instructions to callers, especially in emergencies, while coordinating with various teams. Additionally, they need to monitor weather conditions, traffic patterns, and other factors that might affect operations. Most importantly, dispatchers serve as the vital link between people who need help and those who can provide it. Question 3. How would you handle a high-stress emergency call? Sample answer. In a high-stress emergency situation, my first priority would be to remain calm and composed, as my demeanor can directly affect the caller's state of mind. I would take a deep breath and speak in a clear, steady voice to help reassure the caller. I'd immediately focus on gathering the most critical information using the standard protocol, starting with the location of the emergency, the nature of the situation, and whether anyone is injured. I'd ask short, specific questions to get accurate information quickly. While gathering details, I'd simultaneously begin entering information into the dispatch system to alert the appropriate responders. Throughout the call, I'd provide clear instructions to keep the caller and others safe until help arrives. I'd stay on the line, offering reassurance and updates about the response team's arrival time. My goal would be to be the calm, professional voice that guides them through this crisis while ensuring help gets there as quickly as possible. Question 4. How do you prioritize multiple incoming calls or tasks? Sample answer. When handling multiple calls or tasks, I use a systematic approach based on urgency and impact. First, I categorize each situation. Life-threatening emergencies always take top priority, followed by urgent but non-life-threatening situations, and then routine requests. For emergency calls, I'd quickly assess factors like whether someone is injured, if there's immediate danger, or if the situation could escalate. For example, a call about someone not breathing would take priority over a minor traffic accident with no injuries. I'd use the dispatch system to queue calls appropriately, ensuring each caller knows they're in the system. For less urgent calls, I'd provide realistic wait times and offer to call back if possible. I'd also communicate with my team to distribute workload when necessary. The key is staying organized, making quick but thoughtful decisions, and maintaining clear communication with all parties so everyone knows their situation is being handled. Question 5. What communication skills do you possess that would help you as a dispatcher? Sample answer. I possess several communication skills essential for dispatching. First, I'm an active listener. I focus completely on what's being said, ask clarifying questions, and confirm important details to ensure accuracy. This is crucial when gathering information from stressed or panicked callers. I speak clearly and adjust my communication style based on who I'm talking to. For example, I can provide technical information to emergency responders while using simple, calming language with distressed callers. I'm also skilled at verbal de-escalation. I can remain patient and professional even with frustrated or aggressive callers. Additionally, I'm comfortable with written communication for logging calls and creating reports. I pay attention to detail and double-check information for accuracy. I also understand the importance of non-verbal cues in voice communication, like tone and pace, which help me assess a caller's emotional state. These skills allow me to be an effective bridge between people in need and the help they require. Question 6. How would you handle an angry or frustrated caller? Sample answer. When dealing with an angry or frustrated caller, I would first remind myself not to take their anger personally. They're upset about their situation, not with me. I'd let them express their frustration initially without interrupting, as sometimes people just need to be heard. I'd use a calm, empathetic tone and acknowledge their feelings by saying something like, "I understand this must be very frustrating for you, and I'm here to help resolve this." I'd then redirect the conversation to gathering the information I need by asking specific questions. If they continue to be aggressive, I'd remain professional and set boundaries respectfully, saying something like, "I want to help you, but I need you to provide some information so I can assist you properly." I'd focus on finding a solution to their problem, as addressing their actual need often reduces their frustration. Throughout the interaction, I'd document everything accurately and, if necessary, involve a supervisor while maintaining my composure and professionalism. Question 7. Tell me about your computer and technical skills. Sample answer. I'm comfortable with computers and learn new software quickly. I'm proficient in Microsoft Office, particularly Excel for data management and Word for documentation. I type at about 50 words per minute with high accuracy, which I know is important for real-time data entry during calls. I've researched common dispatch software and familiarized myself with CAD systems through online tutorials and videos. While I haven't used professional dispatch software yet, I understand the basic principles of entering call information, updating statuses, and tracking resources. I'm also comfortable with GPS and mapping applications, which I know are essential for routing and location verification. I'm tech-savvy and adapt quickly to new systems. In my previous experiences, whether in school projects or part-time work, I've always been the person others come to for technical help. I'm confident I can quickly master any dispatch software or communication systems your organization uses, and I'm eager to receive training on your specific platforms. Question 8. How do you ensure accuracy when recording information? Sample answer. Accuracy is critical in dispatch work, as even small errors can have serious consequences. My approach to ensuring accuracy starts with active listening and asking clarifying questions. I never assume if something isn't clear. I ask the caller to repeat or spell out important details like names, addresses, or specific locations. I use the technique of reading back critical information to the caller for confirmation. For example, I'd say, "Let me confirm you're at 123 Main Street, apartment 4B, correct?" This catches errors immediately. I also have a personal habit of double-checking my entries before submitting them into any system. I write legibly and organize information logically, using standard formats and abbreviations consistently. If I'm unsure about something, I make a note to follow up rather than guessing. I understand that in emergency situations, accurate information can literally save lives, so I treat every detail with the importance it deserves. After each call, I review my notes to ensure completeness before moving to the next task. Question 9. What would you do if you received incomplete or conflicting information? Sample answer. When receiving incomplete or conflicting information, I would first try to identify what's causing the confusion. Sometimes callers are panicked or there might be multiple people providing different details. I'd stay calm and work systematically to clarify the situation. For incomplete information, I'd ask specific, targeted questions to fill in the gaps. I'd prioritize getting the most critical information first, location and nature of emergency, then gather additional details. If information conflicts, I'd acknowledge it and ask follow-up questions like, "I'm hearing 2 different addresses, can you confirm which one needs assistance?" If I can't resolve the conflict immediately, I'd document both versions and alert the responding team about the discrepancy so they can be prepared. I'd also use available resources like databases or mapping systems to verify information when possible. The key is not to delay response while seeking perfect information. I'd dispatch based on the best available information while continuing to clarify details and update the team as needed. Question 10. How do you handle confidential or sensitive information? Sample answer. I understand that dispatchers often handle highly sensitive and confidential information, and I take this responsibility very seriously. I would strictly follow all privacy policies and protocols established by the organization, never sharing confidential information with anyone who isn't authorized to receive it. I would never discuss specific calls or situations outside of work, even with family or friends, and I wouldn't share details on social media under any circumstances. Within the workplace, I'd only share information on a need-to-know basis with relevant personnel. I understand that maintaining confidentiality builds trust with the public and protects people during vulnerable moments. I would also ensure physical security of information by logging out of systems when stepping away, properly storing any written notes, and following proper procedures for disposing of sensitive documents. If I ever had questions about what information could be shared or with whom, I would always err on the side of caution and check with a supervisor. Protecting people's privacy is not just a job requirement, it's an ethical obligation I take seriously. Question 11. Describe a time when you had to multitask effectively. Sample answer. During my final year of college, I worked part-time at a busy campus information desk while completing my studies. One particularly hectic day during orientation week, I was simultaneously answering phone calls from parents, responding to emails from incoming students, and helping walk-in visitors find their way around campus. I handled this by creating a simple priority system. Anyone physically present got immediate attention for safety reasons, urgent calls were handled next, and emails were answered during brief quiet moments. I kept a notepad to quickly jot down callback numbers and requests so nothing was forgotten. I also learned to type responses while talking on the phone, which significantly improved my efficiency. The result was that despite the chaos, every inquiry was addressed, no one had to wait unreasonably long, and I received positive feedback from my supervisor. This experience taught me how to stay organized under pressure and juggle multiple responsibilities, skills I know are essential for a dispatcher who must coordinate various resources while handling multiple situations simultaneously. Question 12. How would you stay alert during a quiet night shift? Sample answer. Staying alert during quiet periods is just as important as handling busy times, as emergencies can happen at any moment. I would maintain alertness by keeping myself actively engaged even during slow periods. This might include reviewing protocols, studying area maps to improve my geographic knowledge, or organizing and updating resource lists. I'd maintain good physical habits by staying hydrated, eating healthy snacks rather than heavy meals, and doing simple stretches or movements when appropriate. I'd keep the workspace well lit and at a comfortable temperature. During permitted breaks, I'd take short walks to maintain circulation and alertness. I'd also engage with my colleagues appropriately, as professional conversation can help maintain mental sharpness. Additionally, I'd use quiet times productively by reviewing previous calls to learn from them or familiarizing myself with new procedures. I understand that even during the quietest shift, I need to be ready to respond instantly and effectively to any emergency. Mental preparation and maintaining a professional mindset throughout the shift would be my priority. Question 13. What would you do if you couldn't understand a caller due to language barriers? Sample answer. Language barriers require patience and creative problem solving. First, I'd speak slowly and clearly, using simple words and avoiding idioms or complex phrases. I'd focus on getting the most critical information using basic questions that might require only yes, no answers or simple responses. I'd utilize any language resources available, such as translation services, language line services, or multilingual staff members. Many dispatch centers have protocols for this, and I'd follow them immediately. If those aren't immediately available, I might use key universal words or ask if anyone with the caller speaks English. I'd also pay attention to background noises, tone of voice, and any recognizable words to assess the urgency of the situation. Even with language barriers, numbers for addresses are often understandable across languages. If it's clearly an emergency, I wouldn't delay dispatching help while trying to get perfect information. I'd send resources based on what I can determine and continue gathering details. Throughout this process, I'd remain patient and reassuring, as the caller is likely frustrated and scared by both their emergency and the communication difficulty. Question 14. How do you manage stress and prevent burnout? Sample answer. I understand that dispatching can be emotionally demanding, so having healthy stress management strategies is essential. During work hours, I practice deep breathing techniques between calls to reset my mental state. I remind myself that staying calm helps me help others more effectively. Outside of work, I maintain a healthy work-life balance. I engage in regular physical exercise, which helps me release tension and maintain overall health. I have hobbies that have nothing to do with work, like reading and hiking, which help me mentally disconnect and recharge. I also understand the importance of adequate sleep, especially when working shifts. I'm not afraid to seek support when needed. If I handled a particularly difficult call, I'd use available resources like debriefing sessions or employee assistance programs. I'd also maintain boundaries by not taking the emotional weight of calls home with me. I believe in the importance of this work, and taking care of my mental health ensures I can continue providing quality service to people in need for the long term. Question 15. Why should we hire you over other candidates? Sample answer. While I may be new to professional dispatching, I bring fresh enthusiasm and a strong foundation of relevant skills. I've specifically prepared for this role by researching the profession, taking online courses in emergency communication, and practicing with dispatch simulation exercises. This shows my genuine commitment to this career path. My combination of technical aptitude and people skills makes me ideal for this role. I learn new systems quickly, as demonstrated by my ability to master new software in my academic and volunteer work. I also have natural empathy and patience, which helps me connect with people in distress. My volunteer experience at community events taught me to stay organized and communicate clearly even in chaotic situations. Most importantly, I understand the gravity and importance of this role. I'm not looking for just any job. I specifically want to be a dispatcher because I want to make a difference in people's lives during their most critical moments. I'm ready to commit to ongoing training, irregular shifts, and the emotional demands of this job because I believe in its importance. My dedication, combined with my skills and eagerness to learn, will make me a valuable addition to your team. Question 16. How would you handle a situation where you made a mistake? Sample answer. If I made a mistake, my first priority would be to immediately correct it if possible and notify my supervisor without delay. I believe in taking responsibility for my actions, and hiding a mistake could have serious consequences in emergency dispatch. Time is critical, so I'd focus on fixing the issue first rather than making excuses. For example, if I sent a unit to the wrong address, I'd immediately contact them with the correction, dispatch additional units if needed to ensure coverage, and inform my supervisor of the situation. I'd document everything accurately, including the error and the corrective actions taken. After the immediate situation is resolved, I'd analyze what led to the mistake. Was I rushing? Did I mishear something? Or was there a system issue? I'd use this as a learning opportunity to prevent similar errors in the future. I might suggest procedural improvements if relevant. I understand that everyone makes mistakes, but in this role, owning them quickly and learning from them is crucial for public safety. I'd also be open to any additional training or feedback to improve my performance. Question 17. What strategies would you use to remember important information quickly? Sample answer. In dispatching, retention of information is crucial. I use several memory techniques that have served me well in academic and work settings. First, I practice active listening and visualization. When someone gives me an address, I picture it on a mental map. This creates multiple memory pathways. I use acronyms and mnemonics for procedures and protocols. For frequently used codes or procedures, I'd create memorable associations. I also believe in the power of repetition. Saying important information aloud or writing it down helps cement it in memory. During training, I'd create my own quick reference guides and study materials to reinforce learning. I'm also systematic about note-taking, using consistent abbreviations and formats so I can quickly record and retrieve information. I'd regularly review geographic areas, common locations, and standard procedures during quiet periods to keep information fresh. Additionally, I understand that staying organized reduces cognitive load when everything has its place and process. I can focus mental energy on remembering new, critical information rather than searching for routine details. Question 18. How would you work effectively with team members during shift changes? Sample answer. Effective shift transitions are critical for continuity of service. I would arrive early for my shifts to allow time for proper handover. During this overlap, I'd actively listen to the outgoing dispatcher's briefing about ongoing situations, any units currently deployed, and any issues that need follow-up. I'd ask clarifying questions about anything unusual or complex, and take detailed notes about ongoing situations. I'd review the activity log from the previous shift to understand the full context. Similarly, when ending my shift, I'd prepare a clear, organized handover report highlighting any situations that need monitoring, pending callbacks, or special circumstances the incoming dispatcher should know about. I believe in maintaining professional, respectful relationships with all team members. Good communication between shifts prevents important information from falling through the cracks. I'd also be willing to stay a few extra minutes if needed to ensure a smooth transition during a critical situation. Building a culture of teamwork and mutual support ultimately serves the public better, as seamless shift changes mean no disruption in service quality. Question 19. What would you do if you disagreed with a supervisor's decision? Sample answer. If I disagreed with a supervisor's decision, I would first remember that they have more experience and may have information I don't have. In the moment, especially during an emergency, I would follow their directive immediately, as questioning authority during critical situations could delay response and endanger lives. However, if I genuinely believed there was a safety issue or serious concern, I would respectfully bring it to their attention privately after the situation was resolved. I'd approach it professionally, perhaps saying, "Could you help me understand the reasoning behind that decision? I want to learn for future situations." This shows respect while opening dialogue. If it was a non-urgent matter, I might ask if we could discuss it during an appropriate time. I'd present my perspective calmly with facts and evidence, not emotions, and be open to learning why their approach was preferred. Ultimately, I respect the chain of command and understand that supervisors are responsible for the bigger picture. My goal would always be to learn and improve, not to challenge authority unnecessarily. Question 20. How do you stay updated with local geography and landmarks? Sample answer. Knowing the local area is essential for effective dispatching. I would start by studying maps systematically, breaking the area into sections and learning major streets, landmarks, and neighborhoods. I'd use online mapping tools to virtually drive routes and familiarize myself with the layout. During my free time, I'd physically drive or walk through different areas when possible, associating visual memories with map knowledge. I'd pay attention to construction zones, new developments, or changes that might not be reflected in older maps. I'd also study common locations like hospitals, schools, major businesses, and areas that frequently require service. I'd create my own reference materials, like lists of commonly confused addresses or tricky locations. During quiet periods at work, I'd quiz myself on locations and routes. I'd also learn from experienced dispatchers and field units who know shortcuts or specific local challenges. Additionally, I'd stay informed about local events, road closures, or other factors that might affect response routes. This continuous learning approach ensures I can provide accurate, efficient guidance to field units and help callers identify their locations quickly. Question 21. How would you handle a call where someone's life is in immediate danger? Sample answer. In a life-threatening situation, every second counts. I would immediately maintain a calm, confident tone to help keep the caller focused. While gathering the location, the most critical information, I'd simultaneously begin dispatching emergency units, as I understand many systems allow for simultaneous call taking and dispatching. I'd ask quick, specific questions to understand the exact nature of the danger while already having help on the way. For medical emergencies, I'd be prepared to provide pre-arrival instructions like CPR guidance or how to control bleeding, following established protocols. I'd speak clearly and repeat critical instructions to ensure understanding. Throughout the call, I'd continuously reassure the caller that help is coming and update them on the ETA when possible. I'd stay on the line until emergency services arrive, gathering additional information that might help responders and keeping the caller calm. I'd also alert nearby units if available for faster response. After the call, I'd ensure all documentation is complete and accurate, and debrief if needed. While these calls are stressful, knowing that my actions directly contribute to saving lives would motivate me to perform at my best. Question 22. What qualities do you think make a good dispatcher? Sample answer. A good dispatcher needs a unique combination of technical skills and personal qualities. First and foremost, they must be excellent communicators who can extract information from distressed callers while providing clear instructions. They need to be active listeners who catch important details even in chaotic situations. Emotional intelligence is crucial, understanding callers' emotional states and responding appropriately while maintaining professional boundaries. Dispatchers must be able to multitask effectively, managing multiple situations while maintaining accuracy. They need strong decision-making skills to quickly prioritize and allocate resources. Technical proficiency with dispatch systems, mapping software, and communication equipment is essential. Geographic knowledge of the service area helps provide efficient routing. Stress management is vital, as is the ability to remain calm under pressure. Good dispatchers are also team players who communicate well with colleagues and field units. Finally, compassion balanced with professional detachment is important. You need to care about helping people while not becoming emotionally overwhelmed. Continuous learning is also key, as procedures, technology, and best practices evolve. These qualities combined create a dispatcher who can effectively serve as the critical link in emergency response. Question 23. How would you contribute to a positive workplace culture? Sample answer. I believe a positive workplace culture is essential, especially in high-stress jobs like dispatching. I would contribute by always maintaining a professional, respectful attitude toward all colleagues, regardless of their position or experience level. I'd be supportive of team members, especially during difficult shifts or after challenging calls. I'm a good listener and would be available if colleagues need to talk after tough situations, while respecting boundaries and privacy. I'd participate actively in team meetings and training sessions, sharing knowledge and learning from others' experiences. I believe in celebrating team successes and acknowledging when colleagues do exceptional work. I'd maintain a positive attitude even during stressful times, as attitudes can be contagious in close working environments. I'd avoid workplace gossip and negativity, focusing instead on constructive communication. I'd be reliable, showing up on time, being prepared for shifts, and following through on commitments. I'd also be open to feedback and willing to help with additional tasks when needed. If conflicts arise, I'd address them professionally and directly. By being a dependable, positive team member, I'd contribute to a workplace where everyone feels supported and motivated to do their best work. Question 24. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Sample answer. In 5 years, I see myself as an experienced, highly skilled dispatcher who has become a valuable asset to the organization. Initially, I'd focus on mastering all aspects of the basic dispatcher role, becoming proficient with all systems, building extensive local knowledge, and handling even the most challenging calls with confidence. As I gain experience, I'd like to specialize in certain areas, perhaps becoming an expert in major incident coordination or training new dispatchers. I'm interested in pursuing additional certifications and training opportunities to expand my capabilities. I'd like to become someone that newer team members can come to for guidance and support. Eventually, I might be interested in supervisory or training roles, where I could help develop the next generation of dispatchers while still maintaining my operational skills. I'm also interested in contributing to procedure improvements and potentially participating in community outreach programs to educate the public about proper emergency calling procedures. However, I'm also content with the idea of remaining in a dispatcher role if that's where I can make the most impact. My primary goal is to continuously improve and provide the best possible service to the community while building a stable, meaningful career in emergency services. Question 25. Do you have any questions for us? Sample answer: yes, I do have several questions, thank you for asking. First, could you tell me about the training program for new dispatchers? How long is it, and what does it cover? What dispatch software and communication systems does your organization use, and will there be hands-on training for these systems? What does a typical shift pattern look like, and how far in advance are schedules usually posted? What types of calls does your dispatch center handle most frequently, and what are the biggest challenges dispatchers face here? How does your organization support dispatchers' mental health and well-being, especially after handling traumatic calls? Are there opportunities for advancement or specialized training within the dispatch center? What qualities have made your most successful dispatchers stand out? Finally, what are the next steps in the hiring process, and when might I expect to hear back about this position? If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone preparing for a dispatcher interview. Don't forget to subscribe to Global Interview Institute for more interview preparation guides across all industries.